In today's video, I will be giving you guys an update of my previous video about Jason Noah, and I know I said in a live after that video that Jason reached out to Llewellyn to make things right, but Llewellyn reached out back to me to say that things just took a further left. Okay, so for those of you guys who's not familiar, Jason Noah had advanced classes in Cape Town not too long ago, and it was these classes that Llewellyn Boyson joined for 8,000 Rand. Now, this then prompted Llewellyn to drive from Riversdale to Cape Town, which is 700 kilometers roundabout, and then once he got there in Cape Town, he didn't even get what he paid for. Now, when Jason went back to Pretoria and had classes there, Llewellyn asked if he could come till there to attend classes, and this is when Jason then agreed. Llewellyn flew till there, booked accommodation, and then also, further expenses in between he gave out. But when he came there, it was the same thing, that Jason could not give the services that Jason advertised or that this guy paid for. Okay, so like I said in a previous live, Jason Noah reached out to Llewellyn to kind of fix the situation between them. And I find this very big of Jason to be the first one to offer the solution. I know that things have gone wrong the previous 2 times, but I felt like the 3rd time is a charm, and this was Jason's time to, fix things and to make up for what he has caused this guy. If you take it into consideration, him going to Pretoria, spending extra on transport there, accommodation there, and then transport back, I feel like him reaching out and inviting this guy is just taking into consideration everything that this guy went through and wanting to squash it once and for all. Another thing that I really found big of Jason is that when Llewellyn asked him, but who's gonna cover my accommodation and my transport, he at least offered to pay for the transport. Now, that in itself is something big, because it's not like you will find anyone out there that would offer for people to come to them, especially if they know that that person feels like they have done them wrong. So with Jason offering to pay for the transport, I find that a very big gesture into fixing and to making up for this whole debacle between him and Llewellyn. Okay, so one thing that is clear, a stipulation that has been made before Llewellyn even got into a car and drove, was the fact that Jason agreed to a one-on-one with advanced strategies. Now, I feel like this is the actual thing that Llewellyn came for, and this is something that Llewellyn stipulated to me personally many times, that this is actually what he paid for, the one-on-one with the advanced strategies. And Jason telling him, okay, this is what we're gonna do, that just further gave him the confidence to get into his car and drive to Cape Town from Riversdale, which is 300 kilometers away. Okay, so once all agreements was in place, this was then when Llewellyn felt comfortable enough to get into his car and drive to Cape Town. Now, you guys must take into consideration, this is 300 and something kilometers to Cape Town, 300 and something kilometers back from Cape Town to Riversdale. So he had to be sure of what he was getting himself into before coming to Cape Town. Now, when he came to Cape Town, he said he was just met with a whole lot of disappointments. When he got to the penthouse in Camps Bay, there were people there already, so he obviously had to wait his turn. But when it was his turn, the electricity went off. Now, he found this really strange, as he saw the robots were still on and other houses in the vicinity's electricity is still on, but theirs electricity was off. This then made it hard for them to give the class that was promised to Llewellyn. So he said instead of giving live in-market analysis and teachings, they then had to revise on past market structure. Another thing that Llewellyn was really disappointed in is in the fact that he didn't see Jason Noah for the whole day. Now, this comes despite the fact him reaching out to Jason Noah to ask the location of the penthouse so that he can join, and then Jason Noah telling him, listen, you will see me later. As I said, I will link his voice note describing his whole ordeal at the end of the video, so stick around to that so that you can listen to that. But just the fact that Jason Noah told him, I'll see you later, gave him the confidence, the extra confidence that Jason was gonna come there. But when Jason came, he didn't come up. No one saw Jason. So for him, that was a big letdown, as he didn't communicate with Spencer, he didn't communicate with Joan or any other member of the Forex Kings crew. He communicated with Jason straight. So for Jason not to come when Jason said, I'll see you later. That was just a big disappointment, and I'd be disappointed too. Another big thing for him was at the last nippertjie, a message came through that they had to leave the house in Camps Bay. So his whole thing was, why did they book short? If they knew that they was gonna stay for X amount of days, which they indicated, why did they book short? Why did they just had to leave randomly? If no one made any contact with him to let him know that the venue changed, he would have gone back to the penthouse and he would have just stayed there waiting for Jason, but Jason wouldn't have come because the venue would have changed. Now, the person that told him the venue has changed told him, I'm gonna come back to you to tell you more about the new venue. And he then waited and waited and waited in Cape Town for this to happen, but he couldn't wait any longer as he still had to face another 3-hour drive back to Riversdale. Now, I want you guys to take this whole situation very clearly into consideration. This guy drove to Cape Town just for 2 days. He only had 2 days and he asked if he could come for more days. So this is at this point, I cannot blame this guy. At this point, I cannot say that yes, you invested into something stupid, because as you can see, he's showing his eagerness to learn. Him saying he wants to come for 5 days, that means not only is it for petrol to Cape Town, driving in Cape Town back and forth to wherever he's staying, and the penthouse, accommodation, and then still extra food, because obviously he's not gonna take food from his house to come and impress the streets. So do you know what I'm saying? That's extra costs for him. So he just had 2 days, and the crazy part is Jason Noah told him to come on those 2 days. Okay, so in conclusion, all I want to say is offering a solution to this whole problem is nice and well, but if you are not gonna follow through on what you are promising or what you are inviting guys to come and receive, I feel like you shouldn't even be making that offer at all. Another thing I found disingenuous is the fact that Jason agreed to pay transport money for this guy to come from Riversdale to Cape Town, but then not following through. Granted, we don't know if Jason meant that he was gonna pay the full amount or if he was gonna pay part thereof, but the fact that Llewellyn is home already and hasn't received a cent towards transport is just really disingenuous. For me, promising the one-on-one with the advanced training sessions is just really disingenuous if you had no intention to deliver good on what you are offering this guy, because check here, you are making him drive out of Riversdale to Cape Town, 300 kilometers. That man is leaving his family alone. Anything can happen, and then he's in Cape Town, and then he's gonna be blaming himself. But not just that, you're making this guy drive all the way out of Riversdale to Cape Town to receive basically nothing, because on his first day that you told the guy to come, the electricity was off and he didn't see you. And what was supposed to be the second day, you got notified that you guys had to leave the penthouse. So you telling him to come, you're gonna give him these things, and him not receiving it is highly disingenuous. At this point, I feel like what's right is right, and Jason shouldn't even be worried about the services that he already delivered to this guy, because number one, making him come from Riversdale to Cape Town the first time, spending extra money on petrol, spending extra money on accommodation the first time, and him not getting what he paid for is disingenuous enough already. But if that wasn't enough, Jason then stringed this guy along all the way to Pretoria, making him pay for his own transport and his own accommodation, and then still not getting what he paid for. Him coming a third time and not getting what he paid for warrants a refund at least. If you're not gonna reimburse this guy for all of the petrol he paid to get to you, for all of the accommodation that he stayed in to get to you, then at least refund him what he paid you. After all of this driving behind him, paying for accommodation to get to him, and still not getting what he wants, really ate into this guy's pocket. I would say you would pay for the accommodation and you should pay for the transport as well, but that is not up to me to decide. Llewellyn is seeking further legal action, and I believe that they will decide what is the right amounts for Jason to pay. Now, like I said, I will put in the voice notes of the whole description of Llewellyn's experience in Cape Town this past time, and you can hear it for yourself. You can hear the anguish in the guy's voice.
Yes, Rido, as you can see the messages I just sent you now, ne? No one told me anything other than that. What happened on Thursday, when I got there, it started 11 o'clock. When I got there, he was busy, not he, Spencer was busy with other students, the new ones. When I got there at 11 o'clock, they were busy for around about half an hour to 45 minutes. Just after they were finished, the power went off there in the penthouse, and this was in Camps Bay. The penthouse was in Camps Bay, which was weird for me because other houses, it was only the house that the penthouse that we were in, and the one next to this power was off. But the others, that you can see the traffic lights is still on, so it wasn't load shedding. And for the whole day, the power was off. So we couldn't do any training or any trading because there was no Wi-Fi. What happened to Spencer said that we can just revise the beginners, of which I was keen because I did the beginners more than a year ago, so I was fine with that. But from that time to 12, we only finished 4 o'clock with the beginners because it was this and that and that. Nevertheless, most of the people went home then. 4:30 we started with advanced, but let me tell you, it was such a rush to get it done, and only to 5 the power came on. But now it was too late now to do live trading, and Spencer said that we can continue, then we can do live trading the next day. But for the whole day, Jason never pitched. What is weird is Jason phoned me actually when I was still on my way, because I asked him for the live location so that I can put in the GPS. He said he was at the gym, but I will see him later. And I never saw him. He phoned Spencer a couple of times on Spencer's phone, on somebody, one of the students' phone. And Spencer said that he's outside. And Spencer went down to go and fetch him at the bottom, because you have a tag that tag the garage or the lift so that it can open. But I never saw Jason, not one word. And I also found the lady from the offices on the Friday morning, because one of the students sent me a message that Spencer sent him, but no one sent me a message. And I'm gonna forward that message to you as well. Like I said, no one corresponded to me about anything. And the message read, I'm gonna show you now what the message said. So I've messaged Spencer. After a while, he came back to me. But I found this lady as I think is Joanne or Joan, and she said they are busy sorting it out because they must be out of the penthouse that morning. So now my question was, if you know you're going to have 5 days training, why do you book only 5 days, meaning, or 4 days? You were supposed to book from the Monday till the Saturday to do the 5 days, but they went out in the penthouse. That's why the training for the day couldn't continue. And Joan said that she will come back to me, but she never came back to me to tell me what happened. And this was the morning, past 8. I had to wait in Cape Town up until 2 o'clock. Then I decided that I'm gonna leave, because I'm still having a 3.5 hours drive from Cape Town to Riversdale. So and up until now, I haven't heard a single word from Jason, from Spencer, from Joan. Nothing. And again, on my own cost, I had to stay in I don't want to put it like a shitty place in Long Street for this.
If you came this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and then also if you're new here, smash that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it if you became a subscriber. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.